Ada klanga kalimie, wali kumbora. Ada klanga kalimuda bre, wali kumbora. Kalilega ye, wali kumbora baby. Ya bewe gase, kalamu kuje. Le nwere ye, yali tonyoga. Anwa we, kumura lo me wonge anyowe. Yawe tu honyong irogara kombo. Yawe ga yengo planga de now. Yera kaluwa kasoro na kumurwa lweke. Ema diga pala pe we we ngwa. Yawe Abraham, ega mega we. Yamaga we ngwa. Mawa bla bulolo. Ele la puma daga mewa. Yaba prema in the girl, Ranya Mapawa Babana and the girl. Yes, and nigga, never get one for bloody. Mapangu Pugala me, our Tubapu, Lila Puava. Now, ever had a garden, and Yawanada Grana to Kumura, Yawata, Elaja, Waperali, Elaja, Propong, young Baraya, Dubana, and one, Demon White, de la Bellamy. Yawata, Barona, divided to Nanga the Apaga Lama way. The Malawi, Papa, Bella Gogo Beway. In my life, rang a labola de free. Yawon waiting me all Lama, the Malawi. No, I party bay, you say, whoop on a good go. Yawon lie, flower to a dead one, no negla, relay. Yawon will get to a guy. Yawon had a granite to party la blah. Nya dema dele do la ye dema wala ma wala gala wala taeno tawo da mama jobla na tawo da nya wangara gana de me ola ma de malawe ikwengebe inukebe yede kede brava gadiana galo kagali baga program.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome. We are here today. We're going to be going inside Liberia to look at the Opposition People's Liberation Party, the Secretary General, and hopefully the party chairman will be joining me here right here this afternoon. So right on top of the hour is 1:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're taking you to Greater Liberia, that's Bon County here this afternoon. Good afternoon, good evening, Liberia. Welcome.
Can you babe?
Good afternoon, Liberia. Good afternoon, USA. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for sharing your beautiful Sunday afternoon with us. As usual, the heat is on. So we're going to be having a conversation with some of the key players, political leaders of the opposition, the People's Liberation Party of Dr. Lawrence Kasset. The Secretary General, Mr. Daniel Goyu, is standing by. Hopefully, the party chairman will also be joining us here. It's been quite a while. We're not hearing what's going on, what is happening, but we might be having some interesting information here, hopefully. Is the party still alive ahead of the 2023? What is their role? Which directions are they pivoting? Where is their political leader? Is he still in the fries or what's going on? We're going to be hearing directly from the house's mouth. That's the party leadership, and they're going to be telling us the latest we hearing from sources that Dr. Kasser potentially could be returning to Liberia, according to my source. But these and many more are going to capture the conversation here this afternoon. And to just bring you up to speed here, let's see here. One of the big here collaborations in news content sharing, it will be unleashing right here on the Liberia Public Radio. The deal is sealed up. Liberian News War Today coming soon right here on Lpr-Tv and Sky Communication Network, FM and televisions in Liberia. Team of political analysts. Our man Jonathan Ducalet, Amos George, the Liberal Progressive, Samson Toe, Cece Goyot, and Leonard Dodut of the Front Page Africa, best of political commentators, contributors, will be forming part of this program coming soon in the next couple of days, week. We are in the process of finalizing the conversation, and that's Liberian News Today. Let me just tell you what we're going to do. What we're going to be discussing here: social, economic, political, development, cultural, education, stability, and democratic governance in Liberia. So it will be a loaded packed program coming soon right here on the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. So let's see here. Our guest is standing by. Time is running out here. Let me go in the West African Republic of Liberia, where is our guest standing by. Mr. Daniel Goyu is the Secretary General of the opposition People's Liberation Party, PLP. Sergeant, good afternoon, and I welcome on LPR. Mr. Goya,
you hear me, Alfonso?
Yeah, okay, I'm hearing you now. Good evening.
Yeah, they are. I don't know what is the network, but it's a grand.
Yeah, we'll go Liberia. Always, Liberia is always in the front when it comes to internet. Well, just bear it. Hopefully that can work out, but because we need to have a really good time conversation here this evening. All right, he gone off here, but let's see here. Hopefully it will be okay. Let's see here. Let me just bring him back here. Okay, Mr. Goyo, are you hearing me?
I'm a little hearing you, but the network is disrupting. Are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, much better.
Okay, sure. Okay, all right. The national chairman will be coming late. He had an emergency on the Ralphie Highway, so he leaving from that end to get him to get situated. So he will be running a little bit late.
Okay, you are able Secretary General, who is in fact the recordings and every documentation of the party. You are the chief custodians. Okay, so good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Sword, and thank you to our listening audience across the globe. Again, my name is Dana Gayu, the National Secretary General of the People's Liberation Party. We are excited to be on this platform to share some of the trending issues within the PLP.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't be wasting your time here to ask you to introduce yourself. I don't need that, and I'm quite sure the audience, as time go by, we'll get to it. And there are a lot of things here for us to talk about, so we will try to focus on that. All right. So let's hear from you. It's been here a little while. I know we had a conversation here in the past, but it's been here a little while. How are things going so far? Are you hearing me?
The phone is grounding.
Oh boy.
I didn't hear that. The phone is grounding. I don't know.
So I was asking.
Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you. Are you okay? Are you hearing me? Are you
okay? They said well, grow in the election. I think
no.
the phone is grounding. I don't know.
Let's see. I was asking how things so far within the PLP. It's been a long while. We have not seen, we are not hearing anything, the political leaders. But where is the standings of the parties as far as we are concerned right now? Oh boy. Okay, well, folks, just bear with us. That's the beauty of Liberia in the uh, in the century that we find ourselves in. Internet is still a challenge in the country, so hopefully this is not going to be disrupted. But that seems to be the case that we're going to be fixing here this evening. Let me get this one off here, and okay, he's still trying to get back in here. Just bear with us. Soon we get a signal again. He's here, but I cannot capture his image. So just bear, let me get this one off here because he's not in it. All right, let's do a little bit backtracking yet of PLP and the Secretary General, the party chairman, Mr. Doe. They were all out there campaigning. When this party emerged, we saw a lot unfolding here. Let's go back to do some little bit backtracking here. Let's do a little bit backtracking here, and we can see what it looks like.
What I mean, Lpr-Tv, we ask you, for those of you that are viewing us, please share the video, share the broadcast,
My fellow partisans, my fellow partisans, I want to say thank you for the reception that we have received so far from you. We are very happy to be here today to interact with you all.
Okay, let me just move this here. In the meantime, we're going to come to it. Let me see if my guest, Mr. Gayo, are you hearing me? Much better?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Initially it was browning, I know, but I'm hearing you now.
Okay, let's see here if it can play out well for us. I would just ask you, where are we with the People's Liberation Party? Are they still in the political fries in Liberia?
Yes, the PLP is about is functional, it's viable. In fact, we are leaving for Gantad on Tuesday to participate in the election, the National Election Committee campaign finance workshop. We concluded a county tour in 8 different counties. There are 7 different counties yet to be visited, and we are working on that plan. So by October and November, we should be visiting those 7 other counties. So we are fortunate across the country. That means we are gearing up for the national voter registration across the country.
Okay, we've been joined by our senior contributors and scholar on this network. Sister Goya is based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Is Johnny Sister? Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, my brother. So how are you doing? Hey, my brother Daniel Gayu, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, thank you, Sister. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so so as far as we are concerned, PLP is still in the political process for 2023. Is that correct?
The PLP will be a participant in the 2023 presidential and legislative elections in Liberia.
Including presidential?
Presidential and legislative elections with a few candidates, and Dr. Cassell is going to be a candidate on the ballot box.
Dr. Cassell, what we are hearing from the house's mouth. The $1 million question here that will be filtering out there to our viewers and listeners. It's been a little while. Your political leader has been, he's a guy, know him very well. We grew up together, Stephen Tower Estate. I want to make that public declaration as well. But he's been off camera for a while. We are hearing, and if you can validate this information here, latest information coming in this morning, we are hearing that he will soon be in Liberia. How true is this information? Will he be in Liberia shortly?
Let me just provide a little clarification that Cassell being visible, he been on the social media, he been doing interviews. In fact, he was just in Philadelphia sometimes about 2 weeks ago, where he had a town hall meeting. The May West town hall is pending. It's what been last weekend. We have to reschedule that due to technical difficulty. You'll be going to the May West of Minnesota and North Dakota very soon. We are making preparations regarding the return. We consider it a triumphant return of the standard bearer back to Liberia. We are putting all of the plans into perspective. As soon as we can finalize the plans, then we'll release the date of his arrival in Liberia.
Triumphant. Cecil, let me just bring you down here. Break it into context and don't hesitate to come in here. This is a joint collaboration. Gayu is using a word here that beyond my scope of understanding. Triumphant. Is that a meaning of meaning victory? Sources, different interpretation. But let me just bring you in here.
Massive. It means that we're going to pull up members from across the country to welcome Dr. Cassell. The 15 counties will be represented in Monrovia upon his return to the capital very soon. So okay. This is what we are saying, a triumphant arrival beyond the expectations of the Liberian people to welcome our standard bearer in a forerunner. Okay, will be in the 2023 elections.
Okay, so let's bring it to the understandings of our people. I'm not saying they are not understanding, but when politicians, when you see then words coming from Alabia, it's so vigorous, it means a lot here. How do you understand this? How realistic is it? People written PLP of different people depending who you talk to, even if he appears in Liberia like we are hearing from the Secretary General. What does that suggest?
So Dr. Cassell is one of those people that I respect. I mean, based on his credentials. So full disclosure, I followed him when we were in Liberia before the legal issues came up in the United States. Now, having said that, though, Mr. Gayu, I'm a little bit puzzled. I want to understand something from you, if you will. I am in Minnesota. Full disclosure, I'm on the board of directors of the Organization of Liberians in Minnesota. The hall that you were supposed to use for the town hall for Dr. Cassell. And I'm also a member of the Lo-Fi Association. Matter of fact, I'm the national vice president for the Federation of Lo-Fi Associations in the Americas. And in our chat rooms, people have placed Dr. Cassell's flyers and said he was coming to Minnesota. That got canceled without much communication from the group, without much communication from the party. Now you're talking about that the Cassell is going to be in Monrovia very soon. If that does not come forth, if that does not bear fruit, will you also just treat the Liberian thing as you treated the Minnesota thing without much information about why it was canceled? And part B to that, we see political candidates going to Liberia, and quite often when they go there, you get paid crowds. People are paid because they are poor, and people are taken advantage of because of their economic status. Are you going? What percent do you think of the people that are going to be receiving Dr. Cassell, if he ever makes it for his triumphant entry into Monrovia, will be paid people, and what percent of them will be actual loyalists of your party?
Let me just go back to the Minnesota issue and thank God that you are involved with the leadership of the Liberian community in Minnesota. When we got information that Dr. Cassell was going to Minnesota, I spoke with the leadership in the U.S. It was confirmed. But then subsequently, they informed us here in Liberia that they have to reschedule that. Probably is due to arrangements on or whatever it is. But I think that meeting is going to go on. When I spoke with Dr. Cassell recently, he confirmed it. When I spoke with the chairperson in the U.S., Orita Anderson, she confirmed it. So I think they are working on details to finalize the plans for Minnesota. and that the Liberian people will have the opportunity to interact with Dr. Cassell. What I can speak to clearly is that we are going to have partisans across the country. And just to provide this information to you, the PLP is the only party that do not bureaucrat. We don't pay people to assemble. I was in Sano recently, where I can tell you that as a new party, Sano has over 45,000 registered voters, according to the 2017 voting listing, to 47,000 persons. So as a new party to register more than 10,000 persons at this time, we think it's encouraging. From our database, I can tell you clearly that we have over 300,000 registered persons, members within the party. Now, our goal here now is that how can we, as a party, take these people to register during the forthcoming voter registration, the biometric voter registration that the Election Commission has announced. So I think we are the fastest growing political party in Liberia, and this has nothing to do with money. We are not enthusing people, but I think that the people need change in this country, and this is why we have an exodus of people, trooping into the PLP.
Can I just, because I don't think I didn't get, and again, excuse me if you answer the question, but I didn't get a granular answer to your question. So let me ask it a different way, the part B of that question. Your members in Sino that you boast of, the 10,000 that you register, and you say you're going to have people from all 15 subdivisions of the country going into Monrovia to welcome Dr. Cassell. How do you expect folks from Sino to get to Monrovia? Are you going to be trucking people into Monrovia to go and meet Dr. Cassell, or is this going to be an organic, natural movement of people by themselves going to meet Dr. Cassell?
Well, what we're going to do based on the challenges of our roads across the country, especially the southeastern region, we are going to allocate a specific numbers of partisans to come from the southeastern region. Also being informed that the PLP is the only political party in Liberia that runs an effective transportation through our liberation transport. So we are going to have the folks from the southeastern region, like Sando, Riverside, Grand Crew, Maryland. We're going to have them into Buchanan, and then they're going to take the bus to come. So we're going to have allocations of number to different regions of the country. Where we think that those are accessible, like Nemad or like Bong, the Makidi County, we're going to get a big-up number to get into Monrovia and take our buses to come to Monrovia. So where we are challenged with roads, we're going to get a smaller number, but we have to make sure that they're all going to be part of the welcoming ceremony of our leader.
So as a segue to that, as a political party, economically, do you think trucking people and spend a lot of money on transportation for people to leave from Maryland and the southeastern region to get to Buchanan, and then get on cars to go and meet Dr. Cassell, stay in the city for maybe one day at minimum, and then have to be trucked back? Don't you think that resource could be used to impact the lives of those people differently than trucking them in to welcome a political leader?
We're looking at timing, and this is why we want to plan this very well to making sure that our people are disenfranchised in terms of sleeping and all that kind of stuff. That Cassell has an estate, and they will not be coming for the day. No, there's going to be a week-long event. So those from the southeastern region will make sure that they are well placed, they are well fed, and we don't think that there will be that constraint. That's why I've said that we are going to allocate a smaller number to the southeastern region, and then we'll give the bigger number to the counties that are near. So that for local counties
I hate to interrupt you, but I don't think you answering the question. My question was not about a constraint that is being placed on those people. My question was about the economic use, the prioritization of bringing people, spending vast resources on their financial versus having those people stay in their counties and still support you and use their money to impact them in their counties.
Yes, easy. The PLP, 11 tell you this. I can tell you years ago when seditions were excited about President George Weah, they would do anything to troop anywhere. The PLP is a new political party. It's a brand name in the country, and the partisans are prepared to do anything for the welcoming of Dr. Cassell. This is something I'm telling you, it is true, it is not a myth, but partisans are very much excited. They haven't seen their standard bearer for some time. And his return to Liberia is going to be a tsunami in our republic. And this is why we are planning it very well to ensure that our partisans have access to everything. So transportation is not going to be an issue. The economy we are talking about here, people are prepared to even walk from Greenville to County Monroe. You see that like ourselves.
So, okay, let's come here a little. Anyway, that's what you do. He knows the root of this network here. We try to get to the core, the basis of the conversations with the hope of keeping our people informed. So, Guy, you as a politician, he's aware of this network here. So, we are not doing it. Now, so without getting deeper into this legal saga with your political leader coming and will be received triumphantly. Is that a closure of what's going on now or something still hanging in there?
Oh, I'm not going to speak specifically to any legal issues regarding Dr. Cassell. We think that our political leader is fine. We are following the situations in the United States based on, let me just provide this information or the Franco and CC. You have to know your leader. It's like Jesus telling his disciples, who you think I am? There are some that say you are John the Baptist. There are others that say you are Peter, you are this. And Jesus said, and he asked Simon, he said, Simon, who do you think I am? He said, you are the son, the son of the Most High God. So there are certain things that's not just debatable. If that the Cassell that I have known for over 18 years is not coming to Liberia, I'll be very clear that the Cassell is not coming. But I can tell you that we are planning massively to receive the political and the vision leader of the People's Liberation Party back to Liberia, and he's going to be the candidate.
Why are you projecting this war massive? Is it to stabilize? Is it to add value to his political? As a matter of fact, PLP, the emergence of PLP is witnessed, and many people, depending on you talk to, they had an interpretation that could be a pivoting point, and all of a sudden we saw the train derailed. That is something. Is he going to speak out to his supporters, to the Liberian people, to change the narrative, to change the mindset, and some of his judgments being rendered in his absence? Will he address this issue, do you think?
Recently we heard about Liberian leaders, being sanctioned by the U.S. I think when people are accused, they are given the opportunity to go to court, to exonerate themselves or for the court process to find them guilty or not guilty. The issues with that, like I said, we think is comfortable. I'm speaking to you directly from the horse's mouth. I'm not currently in the United States, but what I can tell you is that I'm in constant contact with the standard bearer of the People's Political Party, that he is coming to Liberia. Based on this information, we are planning massively to receive him back to Liberia. And that Cassell is going to, that Cassell will be a candidate comes 2023. So I think we need to be making progress. I'll be making progress on what is happening in Liberia, then the way forward. Dr. Cassell is going to come. So let us not board ourselves, on the coming of Dr. Cassell. We are planning that for Dr. Cassell to come to Liberia. That's the key issue here.
Okay. I think one of the things we do here at this network that we've planned, that we've promised to do, is to educate our voting population in Liberia. So I think tiptoeing around this legal issue is not doing justice to the voters in Liberia, that we cannot even speak about the legal issues and where he stands. How are we then? How do you, Mr. Gay? Hold on one second. Hold on just 1 second, please. How do you ensure that our people are going to be voting, are going to be putting themselves on the line and giving trust to a candidate when we can't even speak on the issue? So let me ask you one question. What is your understanding of the legal situation of Dr. Cassell? And you spoke earlier when you made the analogy of Jesus asking Simon Peter, who do you say I am? In your 13 years of knowing Dr. Cassell, did you one day think in your wildest dream that he would be indicted in the United States for fraud? And then the last piece to that is, we did understand that one of the conditions of Dr. Cassell's being on bail right now was the surrender of his passport. So are you telling us now that his passport has been given back to him by the courts, and so he'll be in Liberia legally?
As I said, I'm not going to speak to the legal issues of Dr. Cassell, but I think there have been no indictment. I'm not a legal practitioner to tell you the legal terms and all of that, but I don't think there has been no indictment. If there was indictment, Dr. Cassell would not be positive enough to tell us as executives and partisans. If I had a mass video conference with the partisans and officials to let them know, gentlemen, I'm coming. And that is why we are putting in place, we have set up various committees to work out the modalities about his welcome. So if the situation was as complicated, I don't think that Cassell will be doing so. He's a man of integrity. He's a man that has lived his life, free of any criminality. He's accused of a situation which we are in the know of. So if there was an indictment, we don't think that Dr. Cassell will be coming. So on the basis of seizures of passport, all of that, we are not in the know. And remember that elections are going to be held in the United States. It's going to be held right in Liberia. Liberians will have the opportunity to cast a vote based on who they trust will be presidency comes 2023.
Okay, let's move to our
I just want him on the record. You are telling us as the Secretary General of the political party that you are not aware that your political leader has been indicted in the United States, and not are you aware that a condition for his temporary release was that he surrender his passport. Is that what you're telling us?
What a surrendering passport, not surrendering passport, what I can say emphatically here is that Cassell will be returning to Liberia. And if his passport on a seizure, I don't think that Cassell will make the public comments that he will return to Liberia.
Okay, let's make progress here with what is happening in the landscape of politics in Liberia. Early August, there was a request of your party, PLP, to join what? CPP. I don't know, the CPP is a factional wing, which of the CPP group or what it is. But who are you having a discussion with? It appears Alexander Benedict Cummings of the Alternative National Congress is placing some phone calls and having conversation backyards, off camera. Where is your party leaning? Are you going to be like a standalone, or will there be any sort of collaboration?
The PLP is going to be a part of collaboration with political parties that shares our values, that shares our aspirations. And so we are open to collaboration with political parties that shares our values. So we are working on collaboration. We are discussing collaboration. We believe very strongly as a political party, especially in Liberia currently, not one party can participate in the win. So the PFP yet has an option. So as we can finalize these issues of collaboration, we'll let the public know where we stand.
So a conversation ongoing within for joining possible collaboration.
As we speak, yes, the collaborations or conversations is in the corridor of the PLP. We are talking to other political parties. And as soon as we can have an understanding with political parties that shares our values, we'll be meeting to formulate the necessary framework for any collaboration. Yes, indeed, we will form a collaboration. And let me be clear here that any collaboration will be headed by the People's Liberation Party. Our standard bearer will head that collaboration. And we just want to, throw this out there that indeed, while we are talking to various political parties, and we are letting them know that the PLP will have any collaborations in Liberia.
Wait a minute. Sister, this is more or less interesting. Any collaboration PLP is joining, your standard bearer will be the head of that. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
So is it fair to say then ABC is off the radar with conversation, because he's been very vehement to say that in fact, he's ahead of the ticket, and they're making that request. So is
the conversations are still the conversation with the ANC. Since we notified, we withdrew from that talk, and now we are going to form a new collaboration.
Where are you going now? Where is a new collaboration coming from?
When the time comes, we are going to have this public decision. I think very soon I'll be a contributor on the show, and let me know everything.
Joseph Boyka or the CDC?
Remember that the Black Eye has is part of a collaboration. So we are not going to go into a collaboration where the PFP will not be headed. We want to go to a collaboration that we will be headed.
Okay, Sister, I see you like you've been Chuck Reg that from he want to be Johnny Oyer, he want to be and that's what we want. And I'm happy it come from out of him because we reach out to a political institution. Reason being, we don't want second guess or second-handed information where you have to find another leader, and this is why we want the representation of these decisions and policy maker. But I think you were choking. He's saying a lot of interesting things here. You are or Tiawan Gonglo guy. No, well, let me just ask him, is there any conversation with Councillor Tiawan Gonglo as well?
In fact, I received a call from Tim Gonglo, for us to jump start a conversation. It's a good thing for us to, speak with every politicians. We're going to have a sit-down meeting with all of the politicians. We are all Liberians. It's a good thing for us to do that in the interest of our country, to remove George Weah as president through the ballot pass come 2023. You will need a comprehensive, a genuine collaborations. And I think that our doors are opened, to speak with in a serious manner political party and individuals in our party politics. So yes, indeed, the reason to us, we are looking at having a conversation. It's a good thing to do. That's why we are calling people to have a sit-down.
Okay, Sister.
Yeah, look, I will be disappointed if the Secretary General has said that his candidate is going to be second to somebody. I don't think anybody enters a political race and say I'm going to be a VP. So I actually respect you for that, Mr. Gayu. But here is my question. As a numbers guy, as a math person, I'm thinking about your winnability numbers. If you are going to be entering any political marriage with the expectation that you have to head that political marriage, and so that puts out the ANC and the CPP, and that puts out the Unity Party, and they're part of the Liberty Party, and to a great extent that put out Tiawan Gonglo. What is your winning strategy? What does your winnability numbers look like? Because that puts out a lot of counties and a lot of places that these people have and these political parties are very stronghold. And in addition to that, you being a new political machinery, and like Mr. So said, you had a steam from the beginning, but with the legal situation in the United States, you got derailed. So what is the strategy? What's your winnability numbers going into these negotiations, wanting to be at the top of the ticket?
Okay, let me just be clear here that since the issues with Dr. Cassell legal issues started, the party momentum continuing to grow. We are maintaining our offices across the counties. In fact, the PFP is the only political party, and let me repeat, the PFP is the only political party that has 18 offices across Liberia. 18 viable, physical, sustained offices across the country. It's not if and end issue here. So if we are going to any collaboration, we look at what do you bring to the table. Currently, our membership strength speaks over 400,000 registered members across Liberia, and that number is growing daily. We just the team just arrived from overseas, where they brought in RD card machines and logistics of our recruitment process, our mobilization exercises across the country. So from now to December, we expect that number to boom, especially with the hearing that Dr. Cassell is returning to Liberia. We expect an increment in that number. Our projected target for the voter registration that will be starting in December up to March of 2023, we are very confident of hitting over 500,000, that will have 1 million people across the country. If we can take about 300,000 to 400,000 people to the elections, that will put up maybe winning 50 plus 1% of that, or putting us in a comfortable lead for a second round. And so we are doing everything possible as an independent and sustained political party to making sure that we register our people. One of the things that the party is doing, and I believe no party have done so far, is developing a retention plan. How do we keep our policies together? I don't think you have heard about a breakaway from the PFP since we heard this myth about Dr. Cassell incarceration and all of that. Every cells of the parties is in place. The partisans are excited, partisans are trooping. And we changed the strategy because the headquarters was of our basic everyday people are at the national headquarters. So we changed the strategy. They put our people in the community. They put our people in the different counties. Let the recruitment be in the county. So the momentum at the national headquarters quiet down a little bit while the people are doing more work. In fact, we just provide funding in operations. So they say that if this guy was not coming to Liberia, why were you able to send about 100,000 US dollars to Liberia just last week and dispersed across the country for the operations? Why we want to buy over 20 some motorbikes in the operations? I think these are made. And that is why we are excited that Dr. Cassell is coming, and we are confident, and that is what we are preparing for his return to the country. And the operations of the party remain unmatched. I can tell you. In fact, I'm leaving for Nema tomorrow, not tomorrow, but on Tuesday to participate in the stakeholder meeting. I was in Basel just last weekend, and we had a meeting with all the district leaders. It's the fastest growing opposition party in the country. So it's not a myth, and the Liberian people are aware of, everybody are aware of. But they leveled the enthusiasms that we have in Liberia, with people coming on board, everybody registering. You know, this is the first time for me to see. It reminds me about the formation of the CDC years ago. That is what is happening now. There is a new impact for the politics of Liberia to see a man of integrity, to see a man who cares for his people, to see a man who is ready to liberate the Liberian people. And himself has to charisma, and he's prepared for the leadership of this country. His over 20 years experience in corporate America, we think that has resonated to Liberia, where he is considered, in fact, the name they call him Liberia is Mr. Goldman. It's touching the life of every Liberian that he sees. And that is why
is it from my end, or is it working?
No, I think it's coming from his end. Okay, Mr. Gaye, are you hearing me?
Yeah, you were breaking
much
up.
better.
Okay. All right. So the PFP is a formidable party in Liberia, especially in the 21st century. To see a party that is less than 2 years old have grabbed the entire country, not just one segment. No, the entire country. I don't think anything have done in transformation to raise about 400 persons electable voters, and we want to do that comes the national parliament.
Okay, the internet here.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
can you hear us, Mr. Gay? Can you hear us clearly?
Are you hearing me?
yeah,
Now,
okay.
yes. Now,
Yeah,
yes.
much better. Okay.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Mr. So, can you allow me to just ask a follow-up, because he brought this back up, and I think we need to go back to that, because you talk about the myth of Dr. Cassell being incarcerated. So let me ask a question, because I want to get a Secretary General on the record. Are you telling us that reports there are from some credible sources that Dr. Cassell was arrested and incarcerated, that those reports are mythical? And if so, what has been the reason for your political party not taking a stance to either sue those the sources of those information, or come up with a public statement denouncing those issues? And what has been the reason why Dr. Cassell has been way too long in America?
It will be suing everybody that says something against us. I think we will be wasting our time.
But this is major, though. This is to the credibility of your candidate.
We are looking at the bigger picture, how we can effectively govern our people, and suing everybody that says anything negative against our political leader, against the party. There will always be hearsay. They say that people will speak against you. You know, as a Christian, I always go back to the issues of Jesus, where he was persecuted by his own people. At the end of the day, he's a savior.
This is the second time
it doesn't mean
this
that,
is the second time you liken Dr. Cassell to Jesus. Are you giving him like a cult-like personality now?
No, this party is different from, the other political parties. The PLP came to being as a result of prayers, as a result that Dr. Kassa is called to liberate Liberia. And, we base everything we carry out in the PLP is religious. And so most time, you will be hearing us speaking prophetically because we believe, that God has sent his servant to liberate Liberia, and that is Dr. Cassell.
So this is a spiritual journey that Dr. Cassell and the PLP are on.
There's no destiny that is cure for you. There would not be challenges.
Okay,
there are challenges in everyone's life.
Okay, let's look at all our engagement now. For the most part, most of these political parties, they focus on the power board position, which is the presidency. There are tons of races going to be going on both lower and upper house of the first branch of government. Let me ask you this, Mr. Secretary. Are you feeding candidates cross country contesting for both houses, the rep and the Senate?
The PLP will be fielding our representatives in the elections in 2023. We have lists of hundreds of people across the country from the 15 counties. It has not been finalized because it has to be primary in those counties. Yes, indeed, we are going to field candidates at both houses comes 2023.
Is Mosa Radat in the fries?
Mosa Radat is one of the countries. But definitely, we want candidates from all other countries across, our geographical location. So we're going to see Mosa Radat, so local, we're going to have senatorial candidates, we're going to have representative candidates all across, they're going to be on the balance of the PLP.
Let's hear some of the names that are already more. Mm-hmm. If you were to do us a favor here,
let me be clear here because we haven't had primary, so we cannot release the names of people. We want to do eligible candidates after the primary.
I think what you try to in as much the massive preparation to welcome your political leader, you also want to create a massive awareness to your supporters that hey, I'm coming, Mr. Gario, I'm coming. We don't just want to say, hey, on it political commentator Henry Costa, Victoria Takwe of ANC, Sir Joseph. We don't know which way Amara Conan, but from what we're seeing, maybe you're going to be heading to Bapalu. We don't know what's the situation. I think it's a fair deal to start hearing names from your camp so that they'll say, hey, we're still around, we are alive. So in the absence, I don't think the primary has anything. Maybe we can get a few names of those who are going to be contesting the primary for these in these major cities. Battleground.
Yeah, that's what we say. We believe in giving all of our partisans the opportunity through a due process. We don't want to throw a name up there. What if we have more than one candidate in Mosbaro County, and then we have to reverse that? So we want the process to be transparent. That is why we are not throwing any name up there until after our respective primaries across the country. Then we have candidates, but there are people that are signing up in different districts across Mosbaro County, across Grand Bassa County. But there must be a primary, and the primary, when it qualifies you, then you become a representative on the PLP bus, whether for the Senate or for the representative. So we don't want to give any out there. Amara been in the political thing for a long time. Henry Costa been around. So there are specific party they belong to. We don't even know whether Amara is going as an independent or on the UP ticket. Or the AFP, whatever the situation is, but we want to make sure that when people have due process, we want to make sure that the primary exercises are independent and transparent. So we don't want to throw any order. I don't want to say a person is going to be, contesting PLP, grantee or whatever the country that he wants to represent. We want to make sure that ZC is given the opportunity to win the primary, then we can get him order as a candidate.
But I think CZ as a partisan of the PLP, would be very happy to know some of the heavy hitters that have already signed up going towards the primary. You know, like telling me what are some of the names that have come out of Lofa County, because I'm from Lofa, will get me excited and say I need to go to the primary.
Would it be transparent if I said to you that we have candidate A in Grand Bassa County that will be contesting, and suddenly candidate A loses the primary? I think we want to make sure the process is transparent, and we want to give opportunity to every Liberian to participate.
We're not saying to tell us who's going to win. We're saying who has put their hands up. Tell us some of those people who raised their hands.
For now, as for now, we don't want to be calling names, you know, so that I mean, we don't want to threaten other participants.
All right, we don't put people on the poll here for true confection. But here, what I'm finding it very interesting, and I also very difficult to comprehend. You alluded here that one person can stand alone, possibly to win the primary. At the same time, you are arguing if you are to get into any collaboration, your guy going to be on the top. So in politics, there is also a give and take. And Dollar Boy, PLP seems to close the window here. So it appears to me, and I could be wrong, PLP going to be in this fight.
Well, let me just, if we enter a collaboration with a political party, yes, we are going to make a lot of compromises. Until we can reach that point, the PLP is an independent party for now. There's a possibility that we're going to form a collaboration, yes. But the collaboration draw up the terms and conditions, yes. Until we can reach that point.
Oh, all right. There's a lot of interruptions here. I didn't really get the last.
Is it from my end?
Yeah,
I'm hearing you guys. I mean, yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is that if there will be a collaboration, yes, we are going to leave the room open because of there will be a terms and conditions of that collaboration as it relates to student candidates across the country. We talk about
okay.
But for now, as a PLP, we are going to remain independent on the decision of collaboration. What I'm saying, it's not that we want to take everything. No.
So if I'm hearing you right, you're not going to have a repeat of what happens in the Bickert CPP, even though everybody declared their intention, they did not allow the primary to play out. Other people were calling for other people to go second to them, which of course, that sort of democratic process, I'm wondering where it's coming from and how can everybody exercise their God's given right. Are you open to the options of maybe having a second slot positions if you are to join a collaboration?
If we join a collaboration, as I said, and I want to be clear, in a collaboration with any political party, the PLP will be leading that collaboration. We want to be clear from the onset.
So it's not negotiable.
Alfonso, any collaboration will be by the People's Liberation Party. We want to be clear. We want to go somewhere, it will be, but we don't want to be clear. We are saying any collaboration will be led by the Liberation Party, and that party is going to be that.
So this is quite interesting here. There seems to be a hook on this here. Which other political parties that you are looking to kind of like get within your column to bring in your? I know there are tons of political party, and I like your position because that's what exactly CDC did. The CPP, the Unity Party, the ANC, ALP, Liberty Party, they failed to follow that sort of model. CDC came out strictly say, hey, you can join us, but if you want to be part of us, this is our interest, this is what you want, and you can be part. And it was a clear-cut deal. So, I mean, that is already, you put it in black and white. But I'm wondering here, which other wings or which other parties that you are turning towards to add your political strength to get you to the finishing top.
So if you want to come on, your girlfriend. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, okay, much better. Yeah, go ahead.
And the guy had not given you a positive answer to say, listen to me, I agree. We have more than 30 political parties in Liberia, more than 30 political parties in Liberia for the National Election Commission. We are in series of those political parties. In fact, hopefully, I will let you know when we confirm the date, about 9 political party leaders will be meeting very soon. Political parties will be meeting very soon. As soon as we can conclude the venue, the date, and the arrangement with the political parties, we'll let them know that, hey, we have started or chatting with these political parties and we have agreed for collaboration. Until we can finish that, we will let them know. We haven't done that yet. So we want to say, look, we want to
okay, you say what? Nine political parties? Oh, this is... We are not getting anything. I'm quite sure there are a lot of interesting information that you are revealing here. Unfortunately, the network is not doing us good. I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
I don't think they have
Russians.
I don't think they have Russians in Liberia to be.
Yeah, no, they're not hacking. But that's one of the key questions I want to ask because of what's happening right now. Let me ask you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us now? I don't think it's your headphone. I think it's the network. I don't think it's.
Yeah, we're hearing you. I think that's it. But if you're using the headphone, that would have been a better thing too, because sometimes the audio fluctuates.
So let me get back with the headphone.
Yeah, I think maybe the headphone might be a little bit better. It will kind of synchronize the hopefully. So what, Sese, I'm hearing what, 9 political parties?
I have a question.
Is your party part of that?
I am not a part of a political party. I'm supporting the candidate. And you will find in 2023 that's going to be.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes,
I think much,
yes.
a little bit.
In 2023, we'll be supporting candidates and not political parties. But let me ask Mr. Gay a follow-up question. I think you were saying something very interesting. The 9 political parties are going to be coming together. The political parties you're talking to form a merger, and what are going to be the keys for you to determine whether you form a merger with these political parties? Is this going to be the convergence of your party platforms and your political ideologies, or is it going to be their willingness to accept that Dr. Cassell lead the top of the ticket?
Well, as I said, we have more than 30 political parties in Liberia, and we have begun talking with some of them. As soon as we can reach the decision of sitting down, talking with one another as a political party, that process will be disseminated to the media. What we are saying and we want to be very clear is that the PRP will lead in a collaboration, and we are clear from the get-go. We want to manage a collaboration that we will share our values, that will share our aspirations, and we have been very careful with this collaboration thing. It's a healthy thing to do. We just want to believe that Liberians become genuine and honest with one another. We don't want what happened with other political parties do happen to us, and that is why we are very clear that Cassell is returning to Liberia, and any arrangements, we are going to be very clear. We are going to lead that process. As I said earlier, we are having conversations with other political institutions, and these conversations, we are clear from the onset. Yes, we want to have a relationship with you, but guess what? We're going to lead the process. And I think that as soon as we can conclude these arrangements with these people, we have planning a series of meetings beginning next month, and by the end of it, before we can begin the process of the voter registration in Liberia. We think that there will be a possibility for Liberians to come together, for stakeholders to come together, and put away the ego.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think
we
the
want to
prob-
deal with people who are flexible, people who love their country.
So who are those people? Who are these politicals? Let's screenland then. There are tons of political parties in Liberia. Let's put them in the basket here. And this is no secret. I think Liberia needs to know. The sooner people get to know, the sooner decisions are made. Where are these political parties? Who are they? The names. Can you tell us one or two of those? I don't think it should be a secret, and we
I
have the
said,
right to know.
yeah, I think I said that earlier. You can't tell a woman that you want her, and she say, "Look, I will come back to you. I whole war, I will come back." Then you say, "Oh yeah, the woman doesn't love me." We haven't concluded anything yet. The party meeting have not started yet, so we can't put people out there and say, "Lord, this is what we are doing."
Uh,
So,
you don't
as
want to
soon
run
as
ahead of
the
the shadow.
conversation, oh yeah, oh
Maybe you got
yes,
the
I mean,
finished off.
but yeah, but that is something that we are thinking on to do, and we start speaking with those party leaders already. But we don't want to throw anything up there.
I like this guy. So let's pivot a little bit, if you will, Mr. Gayu. We're experiencing something right. Let's talk about the dream for Liberia, your platforms and the dream of your party. Because I don't want to discuss individuals, right? Because the mistake we make quite too often in Liberia politics is we discuss the candidate versus the party. Right now, we are experiencing a network issue, and I'm sure this is something that affects millions of Liberians and limits their access to.
Zizé, I didn't hear your question.
Can you hear me better now?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Are you hearing me? Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, we
yes, sir. We can hear you. Yeah.
Oh boy, it's having a little. Okay, let me see. Let me get it from the screen and see here. So, Sissy, are you there?
I'm right here. I'm right here.
So, but I think they've been very crystal clear. Okay, let's see here. Hopefully he's on the other end here. Okay. All right. All right.
Can you hear us now?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, much better.
Are you hearing us?
Oh.
Mr. Secretary General, can you hear us?
I think and you need
Are you
to.
hearing me now?
Yes, we're hearing you.
We are.
Turn your video off temporarily and see if that works.
Yeah, the network. It's been raining in our laboratory, so it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's horrible on the side. Yeah.
Can you hear us now, sir?
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah. So the question I was asking is based on the difficulties we're having right now. What is the plan of your political party when you assume, when you assume state power? What is your plan to alleviate some of these problems? Because we all know now that the access to sustain internet helps the economy, helps education, helps the health sector, helps everything. What is your plan to ensure that ordinary citizens don't continue to suffer what you?
Oh my goodness, this is insane. Okay, let me just get it off here. Let's have a little conversation here. So they are taking a decision. Are they on the right path?
It's kind of it's politics, right? It's a political. I don't expect him to come here and say, we're willing to be second place. But he can't be saying he's looking for people to be flexible when, on the other hand, they've been rigid. They're saying we have to do this or nothing, but we're looking for people who are flexible. I mean, I wouldn't sit here and say my guy is going to be second to anybody. So I didn't expect him to say that. But I think, though, they are putting a lot of things out there that's going to work against them and allowing a lot of things to fester out there. Because back, nobody's going to just let this legal thing just go freely in Liberia, right? Candidates are going to pounce on it. So to the extent that they are just ignoring it and hoping it goes away, I don't think it's doing them much favors. I don't think so.
Okay. Now I see his image, but it's not appearing. So
maybe he got a video up to see if it works better.
Yeah, let me just. I'm seeing that he's backstage, but when you put an image there, it's.
Yeah, are you guys hearing me now?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
We're hearing you, except your image. So maybe we can deal with that. Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the image you said that the video will use a lot more bandwidth than maybe using the audio for now.
So I don't know what I should do. You want me to? So before us to wrap this thing, do you want me to send my WhatsApp number that you can call, and maybe we can, or I can call you on your WhatsApp number? You think so?
You mean on a WhatsApp?
Yeah, because the video, there's an interruption. There's a lot of good information coming out. So let me inbox you my WhatsApp number. If you can just place a call there, or you send me yours, I think we can do that because your video is completely off.
Okay. What is your WhatsApp? Instead of
No, I mean the WhatsApp number. The WhatsApp number to call. I'm sending you right now inbox.
Is that a 682-433?
682, yeah, the 682 number, right?
Yeah, okay, but I have it here.
Okay, yeah, you can, see whether you can call that, and then we can just get you off on the video screen so that we will really understand what you're saying. So let me just move this one. You can just hang on because we're not. Okay, all right, there you go. Okay, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, all right. So I think it's better. Let's do it this way. You don't have to show the video, the audio. What is coming out of you is much more important. But Sese were asking here, I want you to respond to it because he said you guys, you're not willing to give in. You are rigid on your policies. You're making it. You put in the complete lock. You're locking all of the doors on other folks, but you want to open corridor on the other end. But since go along with your point, then he can answer that question directly.
I was making a larger point to that I appreciate that the party is saying our guy has to be the first, but I'm just concerned that while they're being rigid and say they have to be the first. In his speech, he was asking for other parties to be flexible. And so I was saying, you're being rigid, but you're asking other political parties that want to be in bed with you to be flexible.
Sister, thank you for that. But, at times, you got to be clear from the get-go. You have to know what you want people. We have several political parties across Liberia. Let me just give you an instance why Ellis Tyler did not get portions of a fraction of the government positions in the CDC arrangements. Because they try to draw anything to the table. They draw the need, the party. What was the numerical strength? They brought anything. They brought nothing to the table. We want to be clear, this collaboration is going to be based on strength. What do you bring to the table? If you don't bring anything to the table, then we had to look at other areas that you think.
Oh boy.
Dang, even the WhatsApp is going too.
We talk about resource mobilization. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We talk about resource mobilization. Currently, the Election Commission is going after political party. If you don't have $10,000 or more in your bank account, there will be issue. How many political parties will have that kind of money in their account? So if we're trying to form a kind of a collaboration, we have to make sure your financial strength, we got to make sure your numerical strength, what do you bring to the table? And we are going to subsidize some of these team, activities and programs and things, then that becomes a responsibility that the PFP is going to shower. And so we're going to have a deal. So yes, there will be flexibility, but it's we have to know what do you bring to the table.
So can we talk about the future?
Very clear that we will lead the collaboration because we know what we are bringing to the table.
Can we talk about the future of Liberia under your leadership when your political party assumed national leadership after the elections? Do you have plans to mitigate some of the issues we're having right now with internet that we know affects millions of Liberians and restrict their access to moving up economically, socially, and educationally?
We have laws to hold our people accountable. There's an asset declaration on our law that before you take any public office, you have to declare your asset.
I'm talking about the internet. I'm talking about internet access, internet access being available.
Yeah, if we are going to recruit Liberians from the diaspora, and we know that people have families overseas, we're going to tap human resources of Liberians that live in the diaspora. We're going to make sure that you return home with your family, and there will be improved conditions to bring our Liberians that will be coming to work in the government under Dr. Cassell. Because a lot of us live in the United States. Dr. Cassell lives in the United States, he has family. So you know what it means for Mr. Goya to transition to Liberia. So we're going to put in place the necessary mechanism, economic benefit that is going to get you here before we're going to be effective. We don't want you being accused that you taking money from here and you pay for homes in the United States. We want to make sure we need a lot of stuff from our leadership. People are going to declare that asset. We are going to make sure that corruption is minimized. People are going to be punished under the law. We have laws. I think we should be held accountable. If there's any violation, the law needs to take place where people have to be turned over to the Ministry of Justice and for prosecution. Accusation doesn't mean you are wrong, no. But we have to make sure our legal system works. We have to make sure that our judicial system works. And so there are so many things that we will be doing, and those things are not going to be new.
Okay,
laws are just a problem for our leaders.
All right, let me ask you here. What is PLP positions with the current sanctions in Liberia placed on 3 government officials? How can you message it? How can you interpret it, seeing what is also unfolding? What is your own position relative to that?
The PLP is clear on the sanctions that it was necessary for the U.S. Treasury Department to have placed sanctions against Nigerians that they believed are robbing their own people. We believe that now the government under the leadership of President Weah who are dismissed, those people are now. And this is the issue of dismissal. Dismiss them and turn them over to the Ministry of Justice. Is the willpower there? We haven't seen it from the presidency, and we hope that will happen soon. We condemn it in the strongest terms. The Liberians have, I traveled across the country, gentlemen, and I see how deplorable our people are living in abject poverty. Going to the school across Liberia. I was in Dwazon in Sano County in one of the districts, and the school that I saw, that children are still sitting on benches across the country. Beside Dwazon, I was in Grand Crew, I was in Maryland, I was in River G, I was in Grand G. There's a situation across Liberia. The healthcare system is deplorable. So to see a handful of people, taking money from the country and using it on the thing, this thing, them in the stronger way, and they should be possible.
So, talking about access declarations, will we see your political leader to give a full disclosure where he declares his asset before making his position known when he contesting as well?
So it's a man that believes in the rule of law, and there will be full disclosure of his assets. In fact, just from the party level, we get disclosed our assets and liability to the National Election Commission. So there's a clear indication that we are not going to be a violator of the law. There'll be full disclosure from Dr. Cassell. There'll be full disclosure from anyone that will have any intent to run on the ticket of the party.
We cannot be the breaker of the law. We will be holding people accountable.
So will you go one step further than just disclosure to publication, to publishing the asset? Because we're seeing that Dr. Weir actually did declare his asset, but he then went around and shrouded it in secrecy. So would your political leader, is your political party willing to not only ask for asset declaration, but that those asset declaration be made public and published?
You know, when you declare asset, there's a provision under the law that it be published. So we're not going to escape anything. Everything will be published. If you declare, published under the law. That is the law we have in Liberia. If we the party, our assets will be published very soon in 3 major newspapers so that people will know where the PFP stands.
Will you also publish the asset of your candidates?
Property across Liberia as we speak, it will be published. So that as I speak to you, on the 2023 ballot box in Liberia, we will provide full disclosure, and those disclosures will be published in all newspapers as required by our laws.
Okay. So you will be joining us here very shortly, and so we're going to be hearing directly from the House this morning. In order to give you a broad and massive preparation, like you said, in your own word, getting what I'm getting from you, is there a possibility that maybe we can have the guy here before his departure from the USA, or if we can just play host to him here? I think that will be quite fascinating. Is that something that we can work around?
So I think we have discussed this over and over. After today's press conference, you myself want to talk and fire discuss with Dr. Cassell. Are you guys hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I've discussed with Dr. Cassell recently to appear on your show. So that is something that we can arrange. So it shouldn't be a problem. Dr. Cassell is not hiding under the mattress anywhere. He's visible. You know, he any opportunity that is given him, he uses that to speak directly to the Liberian people. So that's not been a problem for him to appear on the Liberian public radio anytime soon. We can make that arrangement. He's already in the mode.
Oh, okay.
Just look at his schedules, you know, and then we can work on the different formalities to happen on your show.
Okay, because we have already started this here as well. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. We will be having a program going to be coming on here, joint news content sharing, and that's actually the flyer here. Liberians News World Today. We're going to be talking economic, social, political, development, education, every aspect of our life would be touched here, and that will be aired on our sister network, Sky Communications and ITVs. Very, very, very soon. We are in the final stages, and that's going to be a fascinating program here. So we'll be glad if we can have that. Sister, do you have a question for him?
Yeah. I just got a quick. I mean, when you answer the question regarding the sanction, you listed a few things that are things that are facing Liberians. I just want to hear from you. In the view of your political leader and your political party, what are 3 major things or problems that are facing the common Liberian citizen? And what will be some of those solutions that you will proffer, that your political party will be willing to proffer to address those situations?
You know, the People's Liberation Party is one of few parties that is assessing the needs of the Liberian people. We just concluded our county calls in 8 counties. We have 7 more to go on a daily basis. We assess the needs of our people and how we can provide interventions. Critical to what is unfolding in Liberia. We look at education, we look at healthcare, we look at infrastructure. These 3 areas, we think it require the interventions of everyone. The educational system in Liberia is a mess. You heard that before many times. Even the former president, Ellen Johnson, said that it's a mess. It is still a mess. So what we have to do is to putting more money into education and monitoring the funding that we will put into education sector under our leadership. We're making sure that Liberians have access to healthcare. It's deplorable. I mean, I travel throughout the land and work of this country here. I will give you an instance in Riverside. There's a place called Jita Town. Jita Town, you cannot access Jita Town, but you have to walk about 5 to 6 hours. So if you had a pregnant woman that is coming from the other side, she's going to die on the road. What can we do to improve our health sector? We have to make sure that we have clinics in nearby counties, to making sure that healthcare reaches our people. We have to look at how do we tackle the unemployment issue in the country. We have to encourage investors in this country. Why investors are leaving from this country? Why are they not coming? Corruption. We want to bring the company. And somebody is demanding that, hey, listen to me, you have $20 million to invest in Liberia, and give me $5 million of the $20 million. How do you think you're going to put the money into the economy? We have to be very rigid on this kind of issues. Average, to stop this issue, people will be punished on the PRP government. We have to make sure that we make the government more credible, we make the environment politically conducive, where investors are going to see the need to invest their money here. There will be security of their money. There will be security of our people. So that trust again can be, renewed in a government that the people trust. And this is what we want to bring to the table. Creating jobs opportunity in all of the sectors. The country is very rich. I was in Sando and I went to a place called Guason. This is a mining area. What happened to our gold sector? What happened to the diamond sector? What happened to the agriculture sector? We're going to put money into agriculture to employ our citizens across the country. If people have work to do, they're not going to be idle. They will have the mindset to think critically. They're going to feed their family. So we're going to look at these key issues to take over the country. And we are currently assessing these problems across the country. This is why every month the PRP is also on River, not just talking to people vote for or vote for this, but we are asking them what are the problems. If you directly speak to the people to hear from them on what is happening in their lives, then you will know the intervention to involve.
Okay, well, before we let you go, we don't want to keep you here that much. I think we have had it last year. But let's hear perhaps maybe an official position, or you as an executive of the People's Liberation Party. This sort of hullabaloo that is going on Capitol Hill with this pension scheme bill here. Does it suffice with you guys? It's a sort of kind of divided house. Other people say, well, it's a long-term preparation, it's a good idea, but it wasn't properly done. There was not enough conversation, and these guys were just putting themselves first than the ordinary constituents. Do you have a position on that?
This is a condemnable act. We think it's a robbery on the part of the Senate to have preferred such a legislation. And thanks to the House of Representatives, in as much as we are not comfortable with the work that they are doing at the Capitol, but to condemn and strike that act, we think it is commendable. Liberians are suffering every day. A defined group of people that have formed themselves into a cartel to robbing the Liberian people. It is condemnable, and the PRP condemned that proposed legislation that was rejected by the House of Representatives. We think we need to, and that is why we are going to few candidates that love this country to preferring legislation in the interest of the Liberian people. People asking for 50% of salary when they retire. It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense, a total nonsense.
Wow.
We condemn it in the most perfect term.
Yeah, that's a very bold-faced politicians. It's almost like what his name, strict talk boss, the late John McCain. He strictly cut the shot without any policy. Sister, do you have anything to say before we can make his final statement and before we wrap up?
Yeah, just in that same vein of asking questions about things that's happening in Liberia, the WAEC or the WASC, however we call it now, the West African examination results that came out with a dismal result when it comes to our passing rate and failure percentages. Most political parties and the politicians have been mute and silent about the result. How do you see that? Where does your party stand when it comes to education and what we are looking at as the outcome of the West African examination results, where you had an overwhelming majority of our students failing?
The thing that we are doing as a political party is that we have a standing committee on education that's reviewing the results from the WIAT, and very soon an official positions will be coming up. But as a Liberian and as an educator myself, I think we need to do more in the education sector. Our country is suffering massively. We thought that the appointment of Professor Solin, who have brought relief to the educational sector because he's a veteran who's been in the educational sector for many, many years, but unfortunately, he has failed miserably. Liberia is now on par with our counterpart in the sub-region. So we have to do more in the educational sector, but we are reviewing these results and will make recommendations to the government.
Okay, Mr. Secretary General, we want to thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Always, even when it is in the dying minute. This is a sort of a constructive engagement we want to have, keeping the proportionate, letting the people to know, hearing directly from the houses more, those who seek in these higher offices in the land. Sooner or later, you're going to be joining us here. That will even give us ample time to go much deeper and understand the political ideology of your party, the People's Liberation Party of Dr. Lawrence Cassell. So Liberians listening to across country here at their distance, but they are keeping close eyes on the political process in Liberia. What could be the final message here before we let you go?
The final message here is that members of the People's Liberation Parties in Liberia and across all out of our borders. The Election Commission has released schedules for its biometric and voter registration that starts in December up to March of 2023. We want to encourage all of you to participate in the process very soon. And the awareness exercise is beginning across the country to inform our people on this process. And to those of you who are listening via this medium, be assured that our political leader, our vision bearer, and standard bearer, Dr. Dana E. Cassell, will soon be returning to Liberia to join us. So we'll inform you as soon as the date is confirmed about his arrival in Liberia. We're informing all of ourselves across the country. And we want to say a big thank you to the host of the Liberia Public Radio, along with the contributor, Mr. Zizi Goya, for the opportunity given us today. We hope that the PRP will be in constant contact with you and will be available to always contribute on your show to providing positive and accurate information to Liberians in Liberia and in the diaspora. So we want to say a big thank you for the opportunity. And the PRP is open. Anytime you want any information, will be available. We are an open political party, and we are prepared to participate in the 2023 presidential and general elections. Again, thank you for the opportunity to appear on the platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's come back home from that's the Secretary General here. Let's pull the conversation here so far. They were crystal clear. He was very definitive in his argument. There were joint collaborations. This is a sort of a two-way smart game that they are playing. They were joined, but hey, this is who we are, this is what we represent, this is the direction of the party. So the choice is yours to accept, to come in and say, oh, okay, that's it. But who knows, they might go into the proportionality aspect to say, join us and we can offer you this if we get the presidency, like the deal was called with CDC, Prince Johnson, and other folks with ministers and director positions. Are they on a sloping hill here in this sort of plan here, Sissy?
No. I think it is very early in the game for any political party to start saying that they are amenable to being second. Absolutely not. So they are playing the game. Right now we haven't even started warming up yet. So I keep telling people, wait till December. By the time we hit December, the movement is going to change on the chessboard, so to speak. But he did leave a back door open. Remember when he talked about the case of the of Alex Tyler and
Right.
and he said Alex Tyler Group brought nothing to the table, and then he talked about that their numbers, like they have about 500,000 registered members, and they also have the money.
I said,
And
yeah,
so
okay, they have the money. Is that realistic, or is
when
that
I agree,
is
when I
it? Yeah, let me quickly get out of here, Sissy. Is that a political talk, or is he being realistic? Yeah, we have 400,000.
well, here's the thing. Those of us that have been in politics before know you don't go to political talk and say, yo, I'm way behind 2% and I'm 2% in the polls. And no, you never do that. So we know that. But what I took out of that, though, is the idea that he's talking about, if you want us to take you seriously, you got to bring some asset to the table. So here's what we bring into the table. We're bringing 500,000 registered members to the table, and we are planning on registering those people with NEC and going up to 1 million people registered with NEC. So he's telling you that they're bringing voters, they're bringing money. And his example with Alex Tyler's party and the CDC speaks to me, at least as a politician myself, that he's speaking in a roundabout way that, well, if there is another political party that brings much more than we are bringing in this political marriage, then we're willing to discuss other things. But right now, they're not going to say they're willing to be second. But if you can bring more people and more money than they have, then I think that they will be acceptable to them to come second.
We don't know the details surrounding their political leaders and the tone, the language that they are projecting, and I try to be on the path of being transparent. Let's come out front and tell the people so tomorrow they can say, oh, that's the same guy there. Is that a good strategy, making it known ahead of time? We don't know the parties that they are having a conversation with. Obviously, ANC requested them to join, but their position is crystal clear now. Anyone that we join in this process, we have to be on top. Now, there's this argument here, and the argument, let's kind of like cross it over here to the other side here. People say Ellis Comey, and he greedy. He wants it all. What sort of political mindset of those who having that? How can we penetrate this sort of war that is being established? Yeah, he made his position clear. I'm in it to win. Nobody wants to be second in a race.
Well, Kamala Harris was in it to win it. She came viciously after Joe Biden. Joe Biden was in it to win it. Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, was in it to win it. My own senator here, Amy Klobuchar, was in it to win it. We can go as far back to John Kerry being in it to win it and becoming a Secretary of State for Obama. So everybody, of course, nobody ever runs for second place, Mr. So everybody at this stage is in it to win it. We wait till December and then we start showing, you can say when the big boys show up, then we know the movement on the chessboard will change. But until that time, everybody's in it to win it. What I'm afraid of, though, what I will caution most political parties about is when you are in it to win it, you need to ensure that you're not burning bridges that you will need later on to actually get you to win it. And so when you look at the Secretary General saying that the discussion with the ANC has been completely shut down, I don't think that is a great move. I don't think so, and I think there's been political bad blood. A lot of the publications about Dr. Cassell's legal issue or alleged legal issues, because the Secretary General said that there are no legal issues in the United States, came from the camp of most loyalists of the ANC and the Unity Party. And I think people take stuff personally. And I want to believe that to some extent, beyond the fact that that Mr. Cummings wants to be the top and Dr. Cassell wants to be the top, I think there are other things underneath there that's keeping those that is closing the door. But I would think that they all should be able to run on their own without running against other people and just telling the LeBron voters where you stand. And hopefully when you get to round 2, you have not burned so many bridges that you can still be able to call on those people that you will need to get you to the executive mansion.
So, how, Cassette, how do you think, the Secretary General making the point here that there will be a triumphant arrival, mobilizing, getting everything done. How can he get out of this whole thing here? What could be the message? What if you were to provide counsel, which of course you're not even going to do, but for discussion purposes, how can he get out of this whole thing here? What could be the message aspect in order to kind of gain the attention that he had? Because PLP was really gaining momentum as a change party, but somewhere down the road, things just turned away order.
They're at a crossroad right now. They have a great opportunity for a triumphant entry of the David that has been trampled upon by so many Goliaths. And they have the other role where he could just be lumped in with the likes of McGill. And I think for them, they have to take the role where they actually can do the work so that their political leader actually returns triumphantly. And the way to do that is not to ignore the news that's been out there about the legal issues or the alleged legal issues of their candidate. I think in order for them to make sure that their candidate shows up in Liberia and people are willing again to accept him, is they need to come clean, have a press conference, a major press conference, or maybe appearing on shows like this, and lay out a step by step, count by count, and thrashing all of those things they see as false and providing receipts. Because if it can be shown that the allegations that Dr. Cassell was arrested and that there is an indictment and that his movement has been restricted by court order, if they can show all of those things to be false, then what they can now do is to use that and say, yo, the system is against us. They've been planting these lies. And by the way, our leader is coming to Liberia. So then he's put in the light of being an underdog. If they don't do that, and they just assume that this thing is going to just die a natural death, in the wake of the U.S. Government sanctioning officials of Liberia for being thieves, I think they run a risk of people just linking them with McGill and saying, they're saying road, and like, bro, they're bringing their own for America, and it will be a big flop for them. So I think that this idea of just ignoring it is not going to work for them, especially now that sanctions are at the forefront of discussions in Liberia.
There's news we are getting in right now. Okay, we had a little discussion here. It's unfortunate our ANC guy is not here, but there seems to be some tension. So we are being told by some insider with ANC. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but there are documentations that we have in our possession now. And you, as a politician, participated in a major politics. We kind of like give it a little brush out here. Let me put his picture here, and he has managed to infiltrate the ANC war, and some top ANC executive are now giving him support. This is Wilmon Pay. He's going to be contesting in Mosorado County, Senator Mosorado County. Wilmon Pay, the expelled, suspended, or whatever, outcast chairman of the former ruling party, Unity Party, went to the People's Liberation Party, another cutting another crossfire. Now, what is interesting here, I wish our man Jeniton, who is a supporter of ANC, was here, but we're going to still have this conversation, but this is quite fascinating, and I want you to dive into it before we can go. We are hearing top executive with top members, executive member within the ANC. They are giving support, not just on it verbal ones, but there is a written communication in our possession that will speak that calls for a support of Wilmon Pay quoting India, I believe, Nima County is consequential to the presidential elections, which is a valid point, but he's not going to Nima County. He wants to contest in Moserado County. And one of ANC executive is contesting, who is the national vice chairman. And a top other ANC member is sending out this robocall or this official letter arguing that we must pay should be the one to get a support because that will give a political reward to Alexander Benedict Cummings come 2023. This is quite interesting. How can I be a member of CDC, Unity Party, Liberty Party, and then say is my party in my is within my party and contesting, and then I say I'm going to give support to somebody who is not within? Is it a sort of American style of politics being injected, and how would this be perceived?
So I'm hoping my brother can be on so I can give him a little bit of jab left and right and see how it goes. But
when we are hearing, additionally, before you talk, because of the gravity of this, we are hearing there's an emergency meeting planning in this week. The intense conversation is ongoing. Where is ANC heading to?
So the fear is, I think I was watching a video. I don't know if it was today or yesterday that video was done, but with Mr. Cummings at a graduation of a vocational institution with the candidate herself, right? And I heard him saying that thanks, let me recognize the incoming senator of Moserado County, Madam Kwekwe. He said that, and so that tells me that the political leader himself has already said where he stands. And so if there are people, other party stalwarts,
executive, not just
in this person, then are they about to have a repeat of what happened in
Aloysius Stowe is not Aloysius Stowe, who happens to be the Secretary General. If and this is what I'm trying to understand here. You want to end your point. Standard bearer on one side, Secretary General on the other side, mobilization people who should be galvanize the political base of the party to get their candidate to the finishing line. They are on the other side of the wall. What does that put the position? Which situation it puts the standard bearer?
I think at this point, the standard bearer has to borrow from the PLP and just be strict and direct and say, this is my candidate. And just because he says his candidate does not guarantee that that person has to automatically become the candidate of the party. If the party actually follow democratic process, right? You can support somebody and they could go to conventions or to primaries, and maybe his candidate loses out and then he has to come out to support the next candidate. But my problem here is if they're not careful, they risk having a repeat of what happened in Nimba County between Tai Wongbe and Edith Gonglowe. You know, we're aware of that, and then there's a reason the CPP did not win their seat in Nimba County. And even if you bring it to Monrovia, what happened to Fubi? You know, so the CPP, as they are calling it, has to be extra careful. Yeah, now we know there's a part of the Liberty Party that's with the CPP and the ANC, but there has to be an actual discussion. What is the process for running on the party ticket? What is the process for being a member of the party? Can I, who have never been a member of the ANC, just call somebody and say, yo, man, I want to run in Lofa County? Is that how it works? I don't know. So the Alternative National Congress has to show us what it means to be an alternative. They cannot do things that all other political parties. So there either has to be a primary, and they have to tell us how the process works. Otherwise, they run a risk of running a splinter group. And I'm trying to understand the logic. If they're trying to endorse the chairman of political parties here, Wimape, because they want votes for Nimba County, but Wimape is not going to be running in Nimba County. So they're willing to lose Moserado because they're not sure, just to be able to get a few votes in Nimba County. Is that what they're telling us here? What's the political calculation looks like?
Is Kumi caught in crossfire here, Sise?
Oh yeah, oh yes.
How this will determine his leadership style.
Yes.
The thing about Wimape is not a member of the ANC. It would be like if he was a member of the ANC, we can suppress him. We say, well, you got to vote. But here we are. no member is coming out to say, okay, let me contest with this other candidate who is suppressing. But you have an executives. And let me just get this here. This is quite I want to read specific information yet that we are given. 2023 election is crucial to us, and we all need to work very hard and make some of the utmost sacrifices in order for Mr. Cummings and the ANC CPP to win. Having said this, while it is true that it is very important that we get votes in all counties, we must make Mosorado, Nima, and other vote-rich counties our prime target. By this, I am recommending that we get Mr. Wilmon Pay on the Senate ticket for Mosorado and below are the reason. That is another executive member of ANC creating a political suicide for another ANC executive that is contesting. Women pay is, these are the reason. I'm going to give you free reason. And we're going to reach out to some of the executive. I hope, and I think I want to talk to Mr. Cummings himself. He is the right guy to answer all of these questions. And the ANC analyst that is here, he's not here today, but we're going to have a conversation before we go. These are the reasons provided by this executive. Mr. Pay is from Nima County, and Nimayans in Mosorado. Seeing him on our ANC/CPP ticket in Mosorado is a lot of them will be attracted to the CPP and also vote Mr. Cummings for presidential candidate. Besides Mosorado, when Nimayans see women in Nima and Mr. Cummings and the canvassing of him in Nima, is a lot of them, especially from the Gil Belt, will definitely vote for Mr. Cummings. Wilmont will attract significant voters both in Mosorado and Nima for Cummings, which could lead us to winning. Nima or coming to close second. Tiawont, Wilmont will contribute meaningfully to help ABC CPP. This is quite fascinating. Politics.
So let me just indulge them for a little bit, right? Talking about the Nimba vote with people in Mosorado, Nimbayans living in Mosorado that would then vote for ABC, and then that would translate into Nimba County that will also vote for ABC. First problem with that is that so they're going to be sacrificing something and they want to get something, and whatever you sacrifice should always be less than what you want to get. So we got Tewan Gonglo running in Nimba County, who's going to be a presidential candidate, and Wilmot P is not going to be a presidential candidate. So how is that even going to be equivalence, right? For you to say you get more votes than Tewan Gonglo in Nimba County. But beyond that, if we want to play this sectional politics that is underlining their whole thing, are they telling us now that Madam Kwekwe in Lofa County, they're willing to lose Lofa votes and Madam Kwekwe and Lofians in Mosorado for Nibayans in Mosorado and Nimba County? Is that the logic that underlines that if we try to follow the tribal and sectional undertones in their statement?
Look, my hair is rising like you soak flowers and then you want to get a donut going. Because the thing is, this is also equivalent with Kwekwe coming to say, endorsing Joseph Boyka, because Joseph Boyka is from Lofa and leaving her party. I don't see the logic in it. Okay, here is the deal. Party can also support another, maybe an independent to create an upset. But then a woman pay is popular in Nima, there is a race. Prince Johnson position is at stake. Yes. So why can't he go there?
Go Niba and check it up. His logic will make more sense if he says that seeing women pay on the ANC ticket in Nimba County will give us votes in Nimba County, because now we're running in Nimba County to your son to you when you see us. Versus saying Mosorado County.
it would make sense to the unborn child to say, okay, I do not have the financial resources, but let's do this political bargain. I have interest in Nima County for the senatorial position. ANC get the financial capability to get the resources to execute an effective electoral or election process. So I want to jump in Nima there to be an offset to Prince Johnson is the Goliath, is the elephant in the room in Nima County. He's not going there. They're coming in, he coming to Moserado, and you have top executives within the ANC say they should give their support to he Wilmon Pay, and that could resonate with the voting base in Moserado and Nima because Wilmon Pay, he is strong. I don't see, I don't know where this is coming from yet. How can Cummings handle this situation?
I think, and I hate to say this, but as a numbers guy, you look at patterns. Wilmon Pay, Unity Party, splinter. Wilmon Pay, PLP was splintering like deep until he got fired. Wilmon Pay now coming to the ANC, and the ANC is about to splinter. This dude, man, I don't know, how.
Why is ANC trying to create another political with all the drama that is
all the drama that's surrounding this? That's the thing I'm thinking.
This is a complete distraction to the political discourse.
A huge distraction because you're already looking at the splintering of the Liberty Party, and you're there. You're forming a marriage with part of the Liberty Party, and people are complaining about you, and now you come to open a war front within. So I'm wondering what is the communication channel looks like within the ANC? Because for a secretary general, a top level official, knowing fully well that the political leader has endorsed their own, and it's not like this is in secret where this person has not publicly declared. Madame Kwekwe has publicly declared she's been out there. And so if you were even thinking something else, how is that not a conversation to have been had a long time ago, or a conversation that would not put your political leader, in between the scissors? Because he was just with Madame Kwekwe, like I said, at their vocational training graduation, and he was calling her the incoming senator of Moserado County. So I think this is an unnecessary distraction. This is an own goal that the ANC is scoring against itself right now. I think there is a big need for them to have an emergency meeting and really.
We have been told is in the making. Yep. This has been ongoing. It's not today. Before you see something comes out in the air, it means there are a lot of maybe gridlock and all of that. But it's getting to the Zenec, and we are hearing there's a big meeting in the making here. But this will also will show Alexander Cummings' leadership style. Believe me or not, that can happen with Donald Trump as standard bearer for when he was standard bearer for the ruling for the Republican Party. To see a third party member and jumps and say you're going to do this. In fact, he will go there campaign and say this person needs to go out. And they saw how many of those people that went out. But I think something is ongoing here. And if Cummings is unable to contain, to manage this, it's going to be another chaos within the very ANC. So if somebody has successfully infiltrated ANC wall as well to create a political disaster?
I think so. I think they've managed to find the weakest link in the chain to go through. But I think, like you said, this calls for leadership, and we're going to watch to see what ABC's leadership skills is going to be like in resolving this issue. Because again, I don't want to assume that he has the ultimate authority to say Wilmon Pay cannot run or any other person cannot run against his chosen candidate. But would they come out to lay out the process so that some of us who watch from outside can know the process? And if the process allows for Wilmon Pay to be a contender, then how are they going to narrow that down? Are they going to go to primaries? Does their constitution or their guiding documents call for a primary? And if it does, then it will behoove ABC to go out now and campaign and canvass for his candidate to win the nomination. But if the process is such that Wilmot cannot even run on ANC ticket, I think they should squash this thing as soon as possible. Not even allow it to see the day of light before it starts to gain some steam. Because mind you, just as the Secretary General is writing this, I'm assuming there are other people in the ANC on this. So
let me get it strictly clear. This is not from the Secretary General. This comment, what about communication was sent by Antonin Lawrence, who is the National Mobilization Committee chair.
My apologies to the Secretary General.
The Secretary General, we have been told the Secretary General is in support of this. So some sort of sectional politics has been factoring in here as well. So but he made his position clear that he's not. But the thing here is, so Wilmot comes out and join ANC, and if he's joined ANC, will he be welcome? That will put Alexander Cummings in another spotlight. ANC Pay was just thrown out of United Party, ruling establishment. PLP giving people second chance, which of course we all have our own. What happened, what not happened, the story, in-depth story, we get to hear explain his part. Throwing out, and then he want to go to ANC. So he going to give the opposition, not opposition, the ruling establishment a talking point. How can this guy be a change agent when he's incorporating these people with, all these political dents coming in and see what it can be doing? I think they are putting side Jose ahead of this whole thing here, because if this is not handled, and no matter how it can even be handled now, first of all, it should have been avoided in the first place to get to this point. So right now, it works in the ruling establishment CDC pocket. I was told Costa might not run, I don't know, according to our source, but there was some sort of nervousness when Amarai arrives in Liberia, and people was thinking that maybe he's going to jump in Mosorado so to create an upset. But from the footage that we are seeing coming from Bapolu, it's most likely that he can get a better shot in Bapolu than Mosorado County.
I think to put this genie back in the bottle will be hard for the ANC. So we got to see what kind of kakalika they're going to dance to get this genie back in the bottle.
Oh my God, you're a mess. Kakalika?
But I'm sure kakalika got to dance to put out genie.
Might be jumping rope. You know how to your kids.
But to the extent that this has come out, it's already a problem. But they can mitigate this just based on what they're going to do about it. They can either just cut it out right now and surgically remove it and throw it out and try to heal the wounds. They have time to heal the wounds, or if they allow it to spread, then it's going to be a bigger issue. But with the issue of Mosorado County, I think the more candidates that come from opposition parties that are contesting in Mosorado, the higher the chances of Sir Joseph getting reelected. That's just facts. Because you only have that many people to vote, and if Sir Joseph can crystallize his own CDC, which we're hearing that there is some problem with that anyway, and that some seditionists might not vote for Sir Joseph. They might vote for George Weah, but not vote for Sir Joseph. And not vote down the entire ballot, party line down the ballot. But the more political candidates that come from contenders that come from other political parties, the better the chances of the incumbent. And so people, whether they like one another or not, have to really start discussing: how badly do they want to be in government and to be able to control government? Then if they know how badly they need that, they need to put their egos aside. And if the ANC has the better of all candidates, then maybe you don't have to go out and say explicitly we endorse Madame Kukwe, but you just don't feel any candidates. And the other way around, if Wilmot is going to be the best on papers and people look at it, then maybe the ANC doesn't feel anybody, but they don't carry him as their candidate and let him run the race. But this is going to be crazy.
Walt Sesigo is a senior contributor to the Liberia Popular. The old man on the war time has caught up with Bob, but interestingly, in the coming days or week, we will be on air in the nation's heartbeat, Scar FM, in the big here's news content sharing, and I'm going to edit this new here. Coming soon. There's Liberian News War today, and the best of political commentators right here on the Liberia Public Radio will be here as usual to the set. And another, besides that, I don't know why I took Gayuni and throw it to your own, but he's going to be joining us here as well from the PRP. Lindan Dodo or the front page Africa that want to be joining the forum here, so it's going to be an interesting one to. In fact, Jose has agreed to appear on the Liberia Public Radio. Victoria Talo has agreed to appear on the Liberia. We're going to get to all of these senators. We're going to reach out to Mr. Heron Costa and give him a shot. As long as they can come here, we can have that conversation, and our guys in Liberia going to be here. My man, thank you so much. The Liberal is on the run. Pat George could not make it. I don't know where is the ANC analyst. Perhaps he knew that we were going to bring this conversation, but there's no escape. It was just
he's in the emergency meeting right now. So he come out.
Well, he can stay there forever. We will still have this talking point because we need to get it out. All right, so our guys, my man Hanson White is right there in the little free diaphragm state. I want to thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much for your time. And there is a chat group created. I think you saw that on the WhatsApp. Yeah,
I haven't checked my WhatsApp today, but I will look.
Yeah, okay. Please look for senior contributors and for the new programs. We are just finalizing and the technical details, and we're going to be coming up with a date very, very soon. But what I do know you're going to be on Sunday. That's a prime time slot. So to make sure to catch Liberia awake, because we have a lot to offer on this network.
That would be a very good schedule. Thank you so much. Have a blessed Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Okay, well, folks, that does it for the rest of the day. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. To our many viewers and listeners, thank you so much for sharing your Sunday with us this morning, this afternoon, depending on your location. Hanson Wai, Rance Formos, Jennifer Packard, Yuku Musa, Tio, and all of you great people. Thank you so much. Hey, Mr. Bent, how you doing? Thank you so much, Joshua, our own uncle, Mr. Boat, there in Norway. This early morning hour, I believe, is still named Wilson, Augustine, and Asker Masari. All of you, want to thank you so much. On this note, that's how we're going to leave it here. We intend to touch every aspect of our life. Tomorrow, in a special presentation, Lpr-Tv special, I will be hosting Dr. Adam Carr. Dr. Carr is an educator. We're going to be looking at the educational sector of Liberia, some of his experiences during his last visit. Dr. Adam Carr will be joining me here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Liberia Public Radio. We say it, we're going to do it. Every aspect of our society must be touched: culture, education, infrastructure, development, all involved. We intend to do that. Until then, have a pleasant Sunday afternoon. Let's take you to Bon County as we wrap up for today's program.